What's going on, my friends? I'm Rolando, the board dad.
And I'm the one, the only, the magnificent, the ruggedly handsome Redford.
Today we want to show you a new roll and write called Aban.
A pun.
Aban.
A pun, like pun, you know.
No. It's with a B, Aban.
Pun with a B. It's like bread made out of bees.
Aban is a 1 to 5 player game designed by Ricardo Zip
Ooh.
and will be published by Lighthouse Games.
Wait, will be published?
Yes. So what we have here is a print and play version of the game, and we'll use it to show you how it plays and give you some thoughts on the game.
Is this on Kickstarter or?
Yes, it is.
Oh.
So the Kickstarter for this game will offer the print and play version of the full game. And speaking with the designer, the plan seems to be to offer the print and play Kickstarter. And if it does well, they'll produce the physical game and offer a discount to the Kickstarter backers who want the physical version. So that's how it's going to work. But for more information, once the Kickstarter launches, go ahead and go to the Kickstarter page and you'll have all the information there. And once we have the link, I'll put it down in the description below.
All right, well, let's take a look at the game, shall we?
We shall.
Okay.
All right, so this is Aban right here on the table. Okay?
Aban.
Your goal is to plant a garden on your sheet using these different plants, which will each score in different ways. The game ends when a player fills up every space here on their sheet.
Okay.
All right, so again, this is the game all set up, ready to go.
Yep.
Okay, and normally this is a sheet of paper, but
ooh, shiny.
yeah, I've laminated it so we can use it over and over, and we can use a marker. But normally you'll need a pencil and a sheet.
Ooh, let me see the cards.
How about I show you the cards?
That's why I want to see them.
Okay.
Chafe, I think we got the wrong version.
What do you mean we have the wrong version?
Everything's in spinach.
Spanish.
Right, spinach.
Yeah, you're right. The names of the characters are in Spanish, but most of it is language independent. Anyway, it will be available in English, don't worry.
Oh, okay. Finish? Finish?
Finish? What do you mean?
You know, finish.
The language or keep
No,
going?
no. Are you finished?
Oh, no,
Yeah.
no, not yet.
Oh, okay.
All right. So to set up, you're first going to lay out these character cards in order. I say in order because if you notice, they each have a die number on them.
Yep.
1
2,
through
3,
6.
4.
Yeah.
And 7.
There's no 7.
Yes.
There's no
The
7.
expansion brings 8 and 9.
No, there's no expansion. Ignore this guy for the entire review.
Right. Don't listen to him. He does not know what he's talking about.
So you lay the cards out in order, and then you decide which character you want to use for each card. And what I mean by that is, if you notice, each card is actually double-sided. So in this case, for example, you can choose to use the garlic.
That's a crying onion.
Oh yeah, it is a crying onion.
It's an onion.
Sorry. So you can choose to use the onion, right? And then you cover that up, and then this tells you how you're going to score the onion. Or you can instead use is that a celery stick?
I have no idea.
Look, I'll show you.
That's onion.
No.
Or is that a leek?
Oh, it could be. It could be. So you cover that up.
I don't know. I don't understand spinach.
You cover that up, and now you're using that card as that other character, and it's a different way to score. So you can either choose it or you randomly choose it. The thing is, you lay it out in order, and then for our purposes here, we're going to use the garlic.
But for my purposes...
I was testing you. It's not a garlic, it's an onion.
I know. I was going to say for my purposes, we're going to use a crying onion.
So during the game, you'll be rolling these dice, and you'll be picking one to keep. Your opponent will be picking one to keep. And then depending on the number that you choose, that's the plant that you're going to draw on your sheet.
Oh.
And depending on the plant, you're going to score in different ways. So for example, here I chose to keep a 6. So that means I'm going to draw this potato here.
Oh, potato.
Yes, which says pa perdida, which means basically...
lost dad.
It can be, right? It's a lost potato. So let's go over how each of these cards score points, at least the ones I have laid out here, okay? So for example, if I were to choose a 2, right? So if I rolled the 3 dice and a 2 came out, right, and I chose it, then I'm going to draw the, is it onion or garlic?
Crying onion.
Crying onion, right. And the crying onion says here that it's crying because it's alone, you see?
Me too.
So if
I mean, what?
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 So at the end of the game, if every crying onion that's by itself will score me 3 victory points each. And over here you see the little symbol that is suggested to draw for the crying onion. So for example, if I chose the 2, then I might just draw my crying onion there. Okay?
Yep.
Now, if I chose a 3, the tomatillo, or the tomato, will...
Tomato, potato.
Hey, you're right. Look, tomato, potato.
Potato, tomato. Let's call the whole thing off.
So the tomato will score in a line, you see? So it scores in a vertical line and a diagonal line. So there are no horizontals in this garden, if you notice the sheet here. So if I chose the tomato, I would want to put it here, and then maybe in the future draw more tomatoes like this. And that's going to score me 9 victory points if I could get 3 tomatoes in a line. And if I can put an extra tomato in that same line, it's going to score me 3 victory points additionally. All right. Now the tomatoes can also go like this. So that's a line of tomatoes.
Creative.
Now one thing to keep in mind in this game is every plant scores for only one group. What I mean by that is, for example, this tomato that we drew here, this one here can only score either with this group or with this group, but not for both of them. Okay? All right. The next one is the fueva, which is the little fire. So the little fires can score you 1 victory point for the first one you draw, and then 3 points for each additional one that's sequential to it, or in the same, one after the other. It doesn't have to be a straight line. It just has to be one after the other. So for example, if on a turn I picked the 4, I could draw a fire there. On another turn, if I picked another 4, I could draw another fire there, and then another fire here. So this one would score me a point, and then these other 2 here would score me 3 points each for a total of 7. The next one is the zanahoria, which is the sad carrot.
Huh?
The sad carrot will score in pairs. So
no, that's not. There's no pairs in this game.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. I mean 2 next to each other.
Oh, so a pair, not a pair.
Correct.
A pair.
Correct. So you want to put the carrots next to each other because they'll score you 6 victory points a pair. And if you have any by themselves, it'll be -3 points. So for example, if I picked a 5 on my turn, I could draw 1 here. And then on another turn, if I got a 5 again, I could draw 1 here. And at the end of the game, that pair is going to score me 6 points.
Oh, Finnish?
No, Spanish.
No, I mean, okay.
The 6 are the potatoes, or the pa perdida, which means
Lost dad.
Lost potato.
Huh?
This one will score if you can draw it like in a triangle shape. 9 victory points. This is probably the hardest one because it takes up the most space on your board. So let me just erase a few here so I could show you how this works. All right, so on a turn, if I picked a 6, I could draw a potato. Let's see, how can I do this here?
Potato, tomato, draw it anywhere.
On another turn, I can draw 1 here, and on another turn, I can draw 1 here. See? So this creates a little triangle, and that'll score me 9 victory points.
9?
Yep, at the end of the game.
Oh.
That's a lot of points.
That's a lot of potatoes.
Yeah.
Wait, Chief, what about number 1?
Yes. Thank you for asking. So the number 1 are espinos, or thorns.
Espinosas.
So if you choose a 1, then you're going to take these little tokens. Again, this is all...
Those are grapes.
They're thorns.
Right, grapes.
And these you're going to put on your opponent's garden.
Oh.
Yeah, your opponent's sheet. Because if you have these on your sheet at the end of the game, it's -2 victory points each.
Oh.
Yeah. You notice anything different about these?
Yeah, they look like grapes.
But anything else?
Oh, wait, they're tokens.
They're tokens, right. Why do you think they're tokens?
Budget cuts.
No, because this is a roll and write. And how many times do you erase in a roll and write?
375,000.
Well, you rarely erase in a roll and write. So to make things easy, you're just going to remove the token when you remove the thorns. Now, I know what you're thinking.
Okay.
How do you remove the thorns?
I was thinking about Pokemon.
So you remove the thorns by spending a die, any die on your turn. Instead of drawing something, you're going to just simply take the die, and you have, in a 2-player game, you have 2 shovels right here. In a 3-player game, you have 3 shovels, and in a 4, you have
5.
4 shovels.
6.
So then you'll just mark off a shovel, and then you can remove the thorn and put it back. Now, again, you only have 2 shovels in a 2-player game, so that comes into play in your decision. Okay, so...
Wait. What about the little sandbags?
What little sandbags?
The ones right there.
Oh, these.
Yeah.
Great. I'm glad you're here, man.
Wow, I didn't know I needed to hear that.
All right, so these are like little fertilizer bags. And what these do is they let you change your die +1 or -1.
Oh, so they have fur.
So you spend 1, and then you can add or subtract the 1 from a die.
Wow.
Okay, so let me show you, now that you know how these characters score, and again, they're double-sided, so depending on what you choose, they're going to score a little differently. And I'm not going to show you all of them. I just showed you these. So at the beginning of the game, the table is going to look just like this. All right, so this is how it's going to look when it's all set up. Then what you're going to do is each player is going to roll 1 die. And so let's say I rolled that, and my opponent rolled...
6, called it.
All right. So we do this because we're going to write that number here in this box right here.
Right.
Which is a chayote. How do you say chayote in English?
Chimichanga.
It's actually also chayote, believe it or not.
Oh.
All right, so I rolled a 4, so I'm going to write a 4 in my chayote there. And my opponent is going to write a 6. I'll explain why that's important in a second. So to start the game, one of you is going to go first. And so you will roll all 3 dice.
3.
Yep.
3.
And then
3.
if you're the first player, you're going to choose one of these dice. And let's say I choose the 5. So then I would draw my zanahoria, or my sad carrot. So let's say I draw it here. Okay, my opponent would maybe take the 1, and then they would draw, well, if they take the 1, they're going to give me a thorn. So let's say they took the 1, and so then they're going to give me a thorn, and they choose where to place it. So let's just say they place it right there. And then the die that remains.
The dice that remains.
Yes, so the dice that, is it dice or die?
Die.
Die. The die that remains, if it matches the one that you have on your chayote, then you're going to, I think you're supposed to draw the little character here, but I've just been placing an X to indicate that I fed my chayote. Now in this
Very
case,
creative.
thank you. In this case, it doesn't match, so nobody gets that die. But let's say we go again, and we roll, and now we have a 5, 5, and a 1. Okay, so now it's my opponent's turn to go first. And let's just say that they choose the 5. Okay, so they will draw their sad carrot on their sheet. And then it comes to me. Now, what I can do here is I can spend, for example, a fertilizer to change this 5 into a 4. Okay, watch this. Then I will leave the 4. I'll take the 1.
Ooh.
And then I can put a thorn.
Oh.
on
Give
their
me some
garden.
grapes.
You want the grapes?
Yeah.
Here. What happened?
They taste like thorns.
They do. They taste like paper, actually, because it's a print and play.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that thorn would go on my opponent's sheet. If it's still there at the end of the game, he would get -2 victory points. But now look at the dice, or the die that remains.
The die that remains.
It's a 4
Remains.
because I changed it. So now, because that matches my 4, I get to feed the little chayote here. Now, the important part about feeding your little chayote, I like saying chayote.
Coyote.
Never mind.
Coyote.
At the end of the game, whoever has fed their chayote
Coyote.
the most gets, I think it's an extra 5 victory points.
Oh!
Yeah. So play continues this way. You'll take turns rolling the dice. Each one chooses one die to keep. You can modify your die if you want, and if you have fertilizers, because once they're out, there's no way to get any more.
Ooh.
And then everybody checks the die that remains, and if it matches your the number on your chayote, there I said it again,
Yep.
then again you mark it off on your sheet.
Mark it.
And remember, you could always spend a shovel in order to remove a thorn from your garden. But you're limited to 2 shovels in a 2-player game. So you want to make sure you time it correctly.
Okay, well, how does the game end then?
Great question. The game ends when one player has filled up their entire garden.
Oh, simple.
Yeah, so in this case here, as we see, if we roll, and then on my final, look at that, I got 3 2s.
Wow.
Yeah. So let's say I choose a 2, and I decide to use the 2 to draw an onion here, a little lone, sad onion, then the game would end because everything is occupied.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Your opponents, if the game ends and your opponents haven't filled up their sheet, it doesn't matter. Just one person has to fill up their sheet.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
Now, in this case, I would have probably not done this. Let's say
everything.
Let's say I had a shovel left, okay? I could use this to remove the thorn. Remove the thorn. Now, I've used up my 2 shovels, and now that extends the game 2 more turns if I'm the one that, has the most spaces filled out. Let's just assume that's the case, right? So that's a little bit of a way to extend the game. But yeah, once everything is filled out, let's just put it back the way it was, then the game ends and you count up your points. So let's count up the points on this example here, and let's just see how we score. Okay, so we can go one at a time. Let's leave the thorns for the end, but let's look at our sad garlics.
Sad onions!
It took you a second.
Yeah, it took me a second.
All right, so if I look at my sad onions, remember you score 3 points for every onion that's by itself. And I have one here, and I have one here, and here. So I just kind of like to cross them off to know that I've gotten them, all right? So that would give me 9 points. I'm just going to write it here.
And then you do it again.
9 points. Then you go to the tomatoes. Tomatoes will score you 9 points when you have 3 in a line. And so I have 1, 2, 3, that's 9 points, and an extra one gives me an extra 3 points. So that's 12 points.
And then do it again.
And then you do it again. Then we look at the fire. So the fire scores you 1 victory point for one of them, and then 3 extra points for each one in sequence. So here we go, 1 plus 3 is 4, plus 3 is 7, plus 3 is 10. I hope
And then you do it again.
I hope I got that right. Then we go to the carrots. The carrots score you 6 points for every pear. So I have, let's see, I have a pear right here.
A pair of pears.
Okay. And let me just cross off these tomatoes to show that I already scored them.
Okay.
That's not in the rules, that's just something I do. So yeah, here's a pair of carrots. So that would score me 6 points. But then here, oh no, I don't have any by itself. Okay, so that is 6 points. And then we go to the potatoes. Okay, and I do have a triangle here of potatoes, right?
And then we do it again.
So that scores me 9 points.
And then again.
Okay, so there we go.
Last one.
Oh, I do have a carrot all by itself right here. So that's actually minus 3 points.
Ooh.
So let's score this first. So we have 9 plus 10 is 19. Hurry up, do the math. 9 plus 12 is 21. Plus 10 is 31. Plus 6 is 37. Breathe. Plus 9 is 46.
50.
But we have to take off the negative 3 points
49.
for
7.
the carrot, and then the negative 2 for 1 thorn. So that's minus 5 points.
Ooh.
So final
45.
score is 41 points.
Oh. I thought it was going to be 45.
Okay.
Finish?
Yeah, now we're finished.
Oh, I was asking if there was a Finnish version, you know, like not in Spanish, but in Finnish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's Aban.
That's it.
That's it. Now,
That's it.
let me share a few thoughts about the game.
It's amazing! Sensational! Nothing else like it.
Have you even played it?
Played it. I can't put the pencil down.
See, now I know you're just making this up.
Oh, please, prove me wrong.
Okay. Extend your arm out. The other one. Because you're left-handed, aren't you?
No.
Okay. You know how I know you haven't played this?
How?
Watch.
Why you gotta do me like that?
Okay, so let's start with the obvious, which
Art.
is the artwork. Yeah,
Art.
the artwork in the game. Again, this is the print and play version, but it looks really cute. It's colorful. It's
Yes.
attractive.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I mean, you look at it, and the first thing you wonder is, what is this game all about?
Vegetables.
Plants,
Pan.
because it could be vegetables or fruits.
Oh.
You got it. So the artwork is really nice. I'm really looking forward to seeing what it looks like in the actual physical version, you know, once it comes out. But as it is a really, really nice design.
What about its gameplay?
Its gameplay, you know what I say, it's smooth like
Syrup.
butter.
Right.
Right. Yeah, the game flows nicely. The turns are relatively quick.
Quick.
Quick?
Quick. Is that Finnish?
Maybe that is Finnish. Quick. The turns are relatively quick because all you're doing is you're rolling a die, you're choosing one to keep, and then you're drawing on your sheet. The trick is to choose the right die. And one other thing I didn't mention is you can't pass.
Nope.
No, you can't pass. So you must draw something. And depending on the die roll, that something may be something you don't want to draw. But that's where the fertilizers come in. Right? You want to hang on to those for just the right moment where you can just spend one and change a die. Oop, 5 doesn't go to 1, right? 5 goes to 4, or it goes to 6.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with the thorns and the shovels. You only have 2 shovels, so you're only going to be able to get rid of 2 thorns. So timing it just right, getting rid of them, not as soon as you get them. Maybe you will, I don't know. But timing is important. When you get rid of those thorns can be important and will determine if your opponent is going to try again, or maybe if you save it till the end of the game, you can get rid of negative points at the end. But if you wait too long, you might have a garden full of thorns.
Yep.
One thing to mention too is the thorns also have a second option, just like each of the character cards have a second option for your game. So you may not want to play with the thorns. You may want to play with Rocky.
Ooh.
And Rocky,
Ba-da-ba.
here he is.
Ba-da-ba. Can you run upstairs?
That's so corny.
No, there's no corn in this game.
Actually, there is.
Oh, there is corn?
Yeah, there is. Watch. I'll show you. There it is. There's the corn.
Pretend I never said anything.
Okay. So the Rock is... No, not the Rock. It's Rocky.
The Rock?
No, it's Rocky. It's
Rocky's the Rock?
No, it's Rocky. So Rocky will also score you negative 2 points at the end of the game if he is on your sheet.
Well, the Rock is in my garden.
But you can also use Rocky to cover up an existing plant.
Oh.
So let's say you had, I'm not going to draw the, let's say you have the tomato, and then you put Rocky on top of it on your garden, then you're going to score +2 victory points. So it's a different way of using the #1 die roll.
Weasel play.
Ease of play.
Oh, I said it in Spanish.
Sure you did. Very easy to learn, very easy to teach.
You could teach it to baby weasels.
Well, no, you can't teach it to babies, but it is accessible for younger players.
Oh.
This is one that you can bring out on the table and start playing, within 5-10 minutes. So very simple, very easy to play, but with plenty of strategy, as you saw with all the different characters. Because it has so many different characters and options, and it's also, dice rolling, replayability is also good.
Hi.
As I mentioned, each card is double-sided or has 2 options on it. And the die rolls guarantee that
Going to be different every time.
it's going to be different every time. Exactly. Now, what would be even better, and I believe, don't quote me on this.
Right. I don't even know what that means.
Again, check the Kickstarter page, but I believe they're working on getting more options for each dice, right? So instead of 2, you might have 3 or 4 to choose from each one. But again, don't quote me.
Right. I don't know what that means.
Okay, so this is normally where we, bring up the box and say we really enjoyed Aban,
But we didn't get a box for this one.
but we didn't get a box
I
for
bet
this
Rodney
one.
gets a box.
No, Rodney doesn't get a box.
Tom Bassel got a box.
This is a print and play, so there's no box. Unless you want to print a box.
Yeah.
Or maybe just show a picture of the box.
Sure. Yeah. This is weird.
Well, since you have nothing else to say, I do have one more thing to add, and that is this.
The mole.
The mole.
The mole. Mole.
So there is a solo mode in Aban. It's being worked on.
Solo mole.
It's pretty cool the way it is right now. But again, this is all going to be developing.
He's the solo mole.
Yeah, he is the
There's
solo.
a solo mole.
There is a solo mole. I like that.
Yeah.
So this is still being worked on, but as it is, it provides a neat little scoring challenge if you want to play the game by yourself. And that's what has us excited about Aban, because
It's a little veggie baby.
it's still in its veggie baby state.
Or for Australians, it's a Vegemite.
Right, right. So it's really exciting to see the way the game is now, all the time spent on the development. It's in a really nice state, but again, it's still a print and play. The Kickstarter will be a print and play. Check out the page when it becomes available for more information. And down the line, when there is a physical version
In English.
in other language, it'll be real neat to see what the game looks like in its final stages. All right, Redford, I think we have reached
We're done.
the end.
Wow.
Yeah,
Already. Crazy.
This is where we tell you, if you like this content.
Oh, me?
Yeah,
Oh,
come on,
oh.
this is your cue, buddy.
Like, subscribe, comment, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.
Yes.
Do it. Now.
All right, so because this game is in Spanish, do you want to say goodbye in Spanish?
All right, here we go.
Go.
Goodbye in Spanish.
All right, we'll see you
In the next one.
That's not how you say goodbye in Spanish.
Finish?
Yeah, now we're done.
No, I meant, was that how you say it in Finnish or?
No.
So we're finished.
Yeah.
Okay, adios.